Hello there. Well, I put a blog post up yesterday on my LinkedIn regarding an event last week. I was fortunate to have been invited by TACA, by DMG, to moderate a panel at the World Utilities Congress. Something I haven't done in any capacity for a very long time. So I thought I'd write a little piece about it and put that up, and also why not create a little short podcast about this and try and keep some sort of momentum going on Measure the Facts. I guess the first thing to ask is, what on earth does moderating a panel have to do with the overall theme of this podcast, Measure the Facts? Well, behind the direct measurement piece, or the factual piece, I am head of marketing and communications for KROHNE, a 102-year-old company from Germany who have been engineering some of the best industrial measurement equipment for years. So part of the podcast is about me finding my feet in the industry. It's an area I'm very new to. I've been in marketing, advertising, communications for a very long time and quite comfortable in that kind of domain. But when it comes to, I guess, you could talk about measuring professional progress. I'm expanding my knowledge and my horizons by learning more about different industries that KROHNE operates in. Now, most of our revenues in the Middle East and Africa come from oil and gas, water, wastewater. The event last week was hosted by TACA, who operate in utilities, so power, water. They also had a hydrogen discussion area, and also there was the Nuclear Energy Forum. And it was actually the Nuclear Energy Forum where I was lucky to be moderating. I say lucky. It's a technology, it's an energy source that's been around for decades with varying degrees of social acceptance. Even I think this year or very recently, for example, Germany is decommissioning their nuclear reactors. When a lot of countries are looking at nuclear with fresh eyes, looking at it as a more sustainable, renewable source of energy, there are issues with it. Safety, transportation, expense, resources, but in some ways it's a very low carbon energy source. So when we look at reaching net zero, carbon neutrality programs and initiatives, nuclear is in some ways a tried and tested energy source. And the opening of the Baraka nuclear power plant here in the UAE, I think it was a couple of years ago, is a source of great pride in the country. And the head of ENEC is saying that in the not so distant future, nuclear will be contributing at least a quarter of the UAE's energy supplies, and that may be replicated around the world, while people are still trying to figure out what the energy transition looks like, what other renewables can fill the gap, and lower carbon or zero carbon alternatives. So for me to be sat there on a stage and be involved in the development and the planning for this panel, it was around the impact of sustainability on the nuclear supply chain. So touching upon aspects that I am interested in, so the renewable and what have you. I was on stage with 5 experts from across the supply chain, and it was really just great to tap into that. I think they acknowledged that usually the nuclear industry is quite inward looking, but there is a renewed spotlight on the industry because of what's going on now, and with the whole push towards net zero 2050 and what have you. So they're experiencing renewed interest and fervour, and having to think of new ways to communicate and slot in. And the first elephant in the room that we tackled was, is nuclear socially acceptable these days? I grew up, I was born in 1979. My birthday is actually the 25th of April. And the 25th of April 1986 was the day that the Chernobyl disaster happened in Russia, in the USSR. I think it was in Ukraine, Chernobyl, in the old Soviet area anyway. So I was 7 years old, and all the talk was about how these nuclear reactors are dangerous and if not properly maintained. And a lot of, and this came up in our panel, a lot of the reactors that were set up were commissioned in the 70s and 80s, and they are coming through to their end of life. So investment is needed, knowledge transfer is needed. A lot of experts, I mean, no offense to some of my panelists, but a couple of them were, towards the end of their career. So, and I think that's representative of the industry as well. A lot of the thinkers and the industry players and the brains are coming to the end of their career. So the discussion was very interesting. It wasn't just about renewable energy, how do we make it even more renewable. It was about how do we bring more youth, STEM education, bringing more technologists in, advanced manufacturing, the education aspect. Are we training people up properly? Is there a skills gap? We touched upon the localization piece as well, how nuclear allows countries, maybe without their own oil or gas reserves, they can be more self-sufficient and diversify their energy generation and do it locally as well. So all that was tackled, which was particularly interesting. One of the gentlemen on there was from the transport side of the business. So, very much along the lines of how can safe transportation come through as well. But I think, what I found really interesting was that a lot of the themes and issues that you see across business, across industry, really do get called out. Also, when you shine a spotlight on the nuclear industry as well. So I think when, if we're trying to measure the facts, we did dig a little bit and we got some data points out there. I quoted a McKinsey report, that we need something to fill the gap. They're claiming that there'll be an energy need, I think it'll be triple what it is today by 2050. So not only are we trying to reduce the carbon output, we're also trying to produce more energy. Where are all these electronic modes of transport going to come from? How is this electricity going to get generated? And I think the nuclear piece was very interesting. Now, the measurement of my engagement at this event, I mean, this article I've just put up last night, it's generated a bit of engagement on there. As you probably know, LinkedIn, when you put an article up there, it does reach a wider audience than just your followers. I have a few followers on LinkedIn, but the good thing about the article is if someone is searching for a particular topic and your article, your content matches those keywords, it would open up. So I'm hoping to get several thousand impressions from that piece. But the comments on there from the people I know are literally about the photo. Because I was, I wanted to bring something different, not only with my personality, or I don't know if that's a good thing to bring to a panel as a moderator. I wasn't, I was lucky I was with experts, so there was no, I wasn't trying to be an expert myself. I think that would have been dangerous. But the good thing was working with experts. But, I thought I'm on stage, let's wear some colourful socks. And I mean, you could see them from the photo, very sort of fairly strong pink, like a dark pink, pinky purple. We bought them in Italy from a shop where I think the Vatican, all the papal, all the clergy go there and buy their gowns and their socks and things, and they are very good quality, and it's their first outing, so I thought I'll wear them for a special occasion. And all the comments are on the socks. It's hilarious. I'm not going to take that as a measurement of effectiveness of the piece, but I am hoping to build on this. Unfortunately, there was no video taken of the session, just a few photos that I have. But I am, I am keen to, if the opportunity is there, to keep moderating. I feel that's something I am interested in, because it means that I get to learn more from the experts, and I bring almost a childlike, but a novice, a 101 approach. So somebody sat in the nuclear energy forum who's not necessarily a nuclear expert, but looking for some foundational material and something to build on, maybe they got something from that. Because I was really pleased with how, I think it was Farah Sharma, the CEO of Nuvia, on the panel. She brought some great analogies and illustrations to the panel to explain a bit more around how they're keen to operate, and the model for how and why they do these things. Anyway, so I just wanted to have a quick update there on what's been going on. I've not been able, unfortunately, to have an interview with any of the panelists from there. That would have been the ideal. To capture a few more people at the World Utilities Congress. It was a big event. Lots of strategic discussions happening, and it really opened my eyes on in particular, in the nuclear industry, and it's something that I'll be looking to build. I think as the appetite grows in the region, I'm hoping to build more of a presence and an interest in what KROHNE brings to the industry as well. So watch this space. Thanks so much, everybody. Look out for the next episode coming soon. Take care.